So I've decided I'm going to head further on out, leave the group and head.
We're about 80 miles out, if that.
Yeah,
Not
well,
that far.
if you see me broken down, I'll be there.
We'll stop.
Yeah.
Yes, we will.
So the day started as a group ride leaving Kernville, but one of the fellows on a Honda, not the one you see in front of me, had a mechanical problem, so we stopped at the Ridgecrest Honda dealer. I found out later they did in fact spend 4 hours there, and they still were not able to get his Goldwing fixed. But I had continued on my own, and it was okay. So I edited out a few minutes while I was just going through stoplights and exiting Ridgecrest. I keep forgetting the name of that town, but I'll put a map in a second. You'll see just where we're going. And it's an interesting thing. I got 184 miles, 3 hours, 20 minutes is what the map quester said for getting to Furnace Creek. But I don't really believe that. I mean, it only took me 2.5 hours. So I also meant I had 2.5 hours of video, most of which looks just about like this, except with an extra 0. So instead of showing all of that, I thought I would try to edit through and provide some clips and do the best I could and come up with some kind of a 20 to 30 minute view of what it's like to drive into Death Valley. Now, one of the things that would strike you, whether you're driving a car or riding a motorcycle, is this view. Boom. There are some very long straightaways. I don't know how long they are. Some of them may actually have a gentle curve to them that's not really perceptible when you're on them. So maybe if you look on a map, maybe it looks like it's bending, but when you're riding it or driving it, maybe it looks pretty straight to you. Kind of like life, I guess. In any case, I'm going to drop the map in a second, and we'll talk about that. But so I'll be showing a few of those views, and a number of the times. So it's not as though I've never ridden this before, but it has been a long time. And I see here's a nice. Oh man, I love the twisties. You know, on a sport bike. You know, a sport touring bike. That's all you say. Man, well done, Roy. Okay, so one of the things that keeps coming up when you ride this anyway is I don't really have a count in my head of how many long straightaways there are. And so there are quite a few, if you will, false summits. They're not really a false summit, but you'll come up over a rise and you'll think, thank God that's the last of those long ones. And you'll look ahead of you and you'll see another one. So I'll try to include a few of those moments as well. The bottom line is we're just trying to get from point A to point B, as you can see on the map. And that took a little doing, by the way. Learn something new every day. And so that's the part that you're seeing today. I'm not going to inflict, and don't turn away from the video yet. I'm not going to put the entire, I've been reduced a 2.5 hour ride to a 25-minute video here. So that's long for YouTube. I don't demand you watch more than a few minutes of it, but there'll be some interesting things along the way, things to see, more than just the scenery, I might add. So enjoy. Of course, for those who have been this way before, Most of you will recognize this as the road to Trona. So I thought I'd mention it's actually only supposed to be 28 minutes or whatever, 30 miles from Ridgecrest to Trona. So I didn't cut. This is the twisty bit. These are the twisties between on the way to Trona. So I thought I'd leave that part in. So as you can tell, it's pretty dynamic riding all the way there. Whatever you can say about Trona and Ridgecrest, well, better say it about Ridgecrest than say it about Trona, from what I can tell. So I guess you'd say this area here is kind of pre-Trona. Maybe it's West Trona. Most of the buildings are abandoned or boarded up, and Searles, S-E-A-R-L, Searles Lake is off to the right, and it looks like it's covered with chemical residue. And there's a chemical plant up ahead. And but most of the businesses don't look like they're open. A few are, and there is a gas station open in town. You'll see it up ahead. And I stopped there on the way back, but I do not stop in Trona on the way to Furnace Creek. Trona is well and truly behind us, and as I look ahead and I'm editing the video, I can see that there is now 22 minutes of going exactly straight ahead of me. I think there's one slight curve to the left, and I see only two cars, and I eventually do pass a truck and trailer. So I'm going to go ahead and cut that part out and give you a kind of a fast forward without doing all the zzz, to go forward, and you'll get to see where I pass that trailer, man. The guy gives me rabbit ears. I don't know how far I went, but it was actually another 7 minutes of video I was able to clip out before I come up against the back of this trailer, and eventually I'll pass the guy, and then we'll find the next exciting thing on the way to Death Valley. And as we're going to come up over this next rise, there's going to be another straight section in front of us. So going to go ahead and keep one section in here. I called it the Red Road section. I don't know what that is. It must be the oldest paved section left from the old highway here. and I clip along pretty good in this section, but I try to keep it in voice and under control because yeah, you don't want anything untoward to happen. But yeah, the red road's coming up, and I'll go ahead and show you the entire red road section. Here we go, and it's about to start. The pavement's pretty rough, pretty gravelly, and goes on for a little ways. You can see I got to cross this long valley up ahead, and that is the first of 5 or 6 such valleys that we're going to cross. we're coming up to the end of the red road. There you go. And we're off of it. And I'm going to be trimming off the some of the rest of the boring stuff here. It's a long ways to the other side of this valley. And there are some more valleys out ahead. Some of the things you can't really tell in the video. Sand and gravel blows over this road quite a bit, and it's only the motion of the other vehicles that come along, mostly cages and big trucks, to blow it off. I don't think motorcycles blow it off much, but I can see it in the road, and you probably can't, but that's okay, as long as I saw it. There's a really nice straight section up ahead. I use my cruise control a fair amount. You can't really tell it, but yeah, it's fun to grab a hold of the end of the bars and just hold on for the straights. I'm going to clip this out though, so you're going to miss it. You're going to go up and get to those mountains on the other side in a minute. So we're going to turn off Trono Wild Cross Road, or whatever it's labeled as, onto Panamint Valley Road, just ahead. Doesn't hardly show as a left angle turn on the map, but that's pretty much what it is. So here we go. Better to go this way than to go straight ahead on the dirt. The truth is, this road is so straight, I don't even want to remember that I rode it. And it's also true that I did some, I broke the speed limit on this road at one point, so I'd rather not put that in the video. But you have to get this kind of stuff behind you, whether you have to admit it in public or whatever. But nice little road here. You can just go basically as fast as you want. And you can catch a little air on the dips if you're going fast enough. But goes on. I'm going to cut out about 25-30 minutes now of straightaway. Okay, I lied. I did cut everything out. This is the end of that straightaway across the Panamint Valley Road. We're going to come up here in a minute. I'm going to take a quick break, change my layering, and get a drink of water. I think I take ibuprofen again at this stop. I get an awful pain between my shoulder blades. And we have an encounter. Well, not really an encounter because I don't speak to them or anything. But the local head truck is up ahead. You'll see. So I'm about an hour out of Ridgecrest, whatever the hell the name of the city was, and everybody's probably still waiting there at the Honda dealer. And I'm gonna get off and change my layering and change my tunes and take a quick walk around break. There's always the risk with the RS of finding any place to park it. It always feels like the side stand is too long. It's worth noting that this particular intersection certainly makes you feel like you are in the middle of nowhere. I haven't seen any cars in a while, and they're just, you know, it looks to me like 80, 90 miles in any direction. There is nothing. But there must be something, as you will see. Not too windy. Wow, the mountains are really gorgeous. I just had to get off and head east up. Oh, smoke on. Probably more profitable than Snap-on. Okay, cut it for a minute. That is the Smoke On E-Head E-Shop. So that's really great, yeah? Here's one way to mount. So I can dig my way out of the sand here. Oh, I had to stretch my legs, man. I had to. Okay. Goose walk it out. I hate sand and grit. Nobody coming. Sand and gravel, my favorite. It's another one of those times when you look out straight ahead. Got to get used to this if you're going to try to get to Furnace Creek, because that goes out a long ways without any concerns about direction or directional stability, I guess you'd say. Worry about your mental stability out here. But I'm going to spare you the details. Let's get up to that next mountain range. Yeah, here we go. We're going to get into some deep twisties again on the way to Furnace Creek. You'll see. Coming up ahead. Requires a finely tuned brain and reflexes. those moments when you realize that you've got another valley to cross, and this looks to be a long one. So again, I won't inflict all of this on you. May even make a turn up ahead. We'll see. Anything worth watching, I'll make sure you don't miss it. Pulling into Stovepipe Wells here. It's actually the new Stovepipe Wells, not the original Stovepipe Wells. I'm going to stop and I'll pick up some substandard gasoline, 87, and I'm going to go ahead and pay my entry fee here, which turns out to be useful later on, and try to head on over to the campground from here. It's not too much further, but it is a little bit further. So I would have thought it wasn't really that far from Furnace Creek to get over, from Stovepipe Wells to get over to Furnace Creek, but it's in fact another 20 minutes, mostly going straight, and with increased risk of time portal extraction, i.e. somebody giving you a ticket. So yeah, I hold it down for the most part in here. I think below triple-digit speeds most of the way. But let's get over to the campground now. You don't need to see another straightaway stretch. I forgot for a moment though that I pass an entire line of people on Can-Am Spyders coming up ahead here. So it's really kind of interesting. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I think there's another one. Maybe not. Way to go, guys. I'm interested in one. It's a toy. I just don't have one. So at long last, we're getting really close to the exit for the campground here. The signage, my opinion, humble opinion, in Death Valley leaves something to be desired, but I got used to it and I started making my turns after a while. But you'll see how this goes. I just kind of watch the correct exit go by. That way I can always come back to it. So just for a casual moment, I looked to the right, and I looked directly down the road that I'm supposed to take to the campground. It said Furnace Creek Campground, the sign, but the signage was still pretty indistinct to me in a somewhat tired state. So I headed on down the road until I could be absolutely certain that I needed to do a U-turn and come back. So this actually is a gas station up here at Furnace Creek that does have real gasoline, but I'm only going to do a U-turn. Go back to the campground. That's that exit that I already saw once before. Vehicles only. So that's not it. Okay. No, but I think I can find it.
Okay, would you want me to give you a map?
Yeah, show me.
Yeah, so we're down here. You'll just go up, make this first right, and then that next left. And that's the parking, and then your site.
I'll see him.
Right there.
Thank you.
Alrighty, you have a great day.
Yep, you too.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. The little strip of paper later disappeared in the 120 plus mile an hour winds that were ripping around the windshield on several occasions. I tried to keep sticking it on, held it on with my hand at one point, but later lost it. It didn't seem to matter much. Everything had been set up by then. Yeah. time. Great ride. Not as long as the first day's ride. And it got me in. I got to set up my camp, and then I got to set it up a second time because I put it in the wrong place the first time. And we get these great visions of clouds and such that evening. So it was all worthwhile. Sun eventually went down, and the wind stopped blowing, and the dust filled my tent. But I couldn't ask for a better day. Above the dirt, or floating in the dirt.